You rewrote your procedures. You, in fact, redesigned the whole process. You reassigned the work, and somehow it's still a hot mess. Does that sound familiar? Oftentimes, when we've got things going a little chaotic, we just want to dump it somewhere new just to kind of get it off of our thoughts and get it out of the way so that we can really try to get back to the real work. The fastest way to lose the team's confidence in you as a boss is going to be when you fix the wrong problem. And that change ends up growing your overwhelm. Yeah, yours and theirs. See, when we work from a knee-jerk reaction, oh my gosh, this isn't getting done. Sally's not able to perform quickly enough to meet the deadlines. The first thing we want to do is, well, let's take it off Sally. Let's give it to somebody else. That knee-jerk reaction, it's simple, it's fast, it gets done, is actually going to hurt your business because you're skipping the most important piece, diagnosing exactly what's going on. Every new procedure that you make signals to the teams that you do or do not have a plan. Yes, we have to be about adaptability and we want to build a team that's comfortable around that. And yet, when we are moving things that don't really make sense in the long run or are not really consistent with rewarding excellent performance and seem to be penalizing high performers because everything gets piled on them, it gets noticed. And you are impacting the rest of the people's ability to want to work hard for you because they're like, it's okay, they'll take it off mine and they'll give it to the A player. I don't have to worry about it. So let's learn what you can do differently to diagnose the problem before you make that quick reactive change that's actually going to make things more challenging for you to manage and get the results you need from the team that really wants to be successful. There's 3 different buckets that you need to think about. Because we really want to understand there could be people in the wrong seats, there could be unclear ownership, there could be duplicated effort, which can create a lot of chaos. Every new procedure or shift in workflows does indicate to the team that you are moving the plan. And if it doesn't make sense, it starts to erode your confidence and theirs, especially if it creates more work for anyone, much less everyone. If there's any confusion in it and it's not delivered in a clear, precise, easy to understand and digestible way, that's going to create its own complication. People in the wrong seats, unclear ownership, and duplicated effort because you built the solution on a faulty diagnosis is the most time, money, and energy sucking mistake that can be easily fixed. There's 3 different buckets because the procedure is not the problem and the delegation isn't the problem. The problem is that you have not identified what the actual problem is yet. We're going to talk about all 3 buckets. Make sure you understand them. And then the next time something comes up, things aren't getting done, you can step strategically into this analysis and start to use it on an ongoing basis. Bucket number 1. This is the workflow issue. It is possible in the building of our business to just deliver and be kick-ass and get more clients that some of the workflows defaulted onto not the right position. And as you grow and get more successful and you start to really repeat process and procedures, it can become evident that some of those works don't really work together. We want to actually move them into different departments, or there's a position that touches work beforehand and it would make more sense to be over there. It is possible that it's the way it gets handed off from one area to the other. It could be the sequence and where the process that's happening that's creating too much time and effort to go back to and restart it. And it could just be that this is a part in the process that needs to be reevaluated and streamlined for efficiencies. It is possible that this is just about where that task or project is placed instead of who it's placed with. And that's something you've got to learn to watch for because that's a system problem and that takes a little time and energy. But once fixed, it's going to make everyone's life easier, regardless of whether it's about one person or anyone in that position or having to fill in for that position. What this could look like, you've hired someone to do follow-up, say, for your clients on the projects to see how the work's going, but they're all still doing. They keep answering the phones and starting new projects and getting it all written down and assigned out. If their job is to do follow-up and they can't get there, we haven't actually prioritized their time correctly. We need to understand, is this person maybe should be working on the intake, which is bringing in new and the starting of onboarding, or should the follow-up go towards somebody who's more of a manager type that understands when the project's actually done and finished and buttoned up and can take any information from that client and put it back into a new process should there be great feedback? Because output suffers, not because of them, but because of where they sit in the process. You hired someone for follow-up, and then you ended up giving them all the work for the intake. Now, these are two different parts of the process, right? One's at the beginning and one's at the end. So it can create some bottleneck if they're always so busy with the intake that they can't get to the follow-up because that's not a consistent and easy shift in workflow. Maybe it's a entirely different system. There can be a lot of reasons why. Is this not getting done well, timely, successfully because of where it's positioned in your procedures? And yes, I get it. The procedures worked since the beginning of time, but let us be clear, as your company gets bigger and you get more clients, the way you work will have to shift. That's about understanding how to map the workflow so that you are reacting in a way that is consistent and effective versus personality. This is not about who's doing it wrong. It's about maybe we don't have the right work in the right position at this time. Workflow issues are absolutely you going back and looking at the way you're working, with the way the company's working, how information moves, and seeing if this is actually the right position to handle this responsibility. Working into bucket 2, that's a capacity issue. And this one sneaks up on you. So it can really bite you. And you can be super reactive in this case, where you're like, I don't know why Sally can't get it done. She's always been able to. She's been in the position for 3 years. She just needs to work harder. Or maybe Sally's used to having 5 projects a day and all of a sudden you have 35 projects coming in every day. That's a huge capacity shift. So while the workflow hasn't changed, it's literally not reasonable for a human to do all of that work by themselves. Because our capacity needs to get bigger. We need to be able to handle more client projects, more customer work. And with growth, that's you learning to identify when it's time to hire. This isn't Sally's fault. This isn't the workflow's fault. This is everything starting to work. Remember all that marketing and sales you've been doing? It's going to grow the need for capacity to deliver on that. And whether that's you or your deliverable teams, production teams, whoever you're working with, be mindful. This can be forecast. You can catch it ahead of time. You don't have to move reactively. But small business, we're still learning and we tend to get bit in the bottom. And hopefully you catch it before Sally wants to quit because nobody's listening to her when she says there's too much going on and she can't get to it. Make sure you're watching for these capacity issues because this is how good people end up run out the door. The boss is like, we just got to get it done. We'll get through this hump. We'll figure it out later, and totally misses that they're trending their sales up. And so this great person who's been there for 3 years and done a great job, but now has to do 7 times the work in one day. Yeah, they're going to get burnt out and they're out of there. Don't do this to yourself, to your business, or your clients. Most specifically, don't do it to your team. They want to help you be successful. You need to see them before they're burnt out. All right. Make sure you're auditing the actual workload before you go, oh, Sally's not working hard enough. Look at how the work has been coming to that individual that's missing deadlines or feeling overwhelmed. Really understand that because capacity issues are a thing that sneak up on you when you're still learning how to create hiring triggers. All right. Bucket number 1 was workflow issue, right? We don't have the right work on the right position. Bucket number 2 is capacity issues. We're growing and we didn't really plan on when and exactly how we were going to hire to make sure we covered the extra work because that's the point. We want to get more business, so we need more team. And then bucket number 3. This is the one you all knew was coming. It is an employee performance issue. Now, it's funny because we will still blame Sally. Sally's not working hard enough. And we will indulge Sally by taking the work away from her instead of just stepping into your boss role and having the hard management conversation. Sally, what's changed? You used to be able to onboard 5 projects a day, and now you're down to 3. Or we're still at 5 and you have the same capacity. What exactly is going on that's affecting the way you can show up and perform? Because just because Sally did it for 3 years doesn't mean she's always going to perform well. Being the boss is learning how to step into these conversations, help identify exactly what's going on, and mentor if the opportunity is there so they can improve their performance. They might just not have noticed they were slipping or just thought they were doing a good enough job and weren't paying attention to their time management. When it comes to employee performance issues, there's generally 3 things as the boss that you need to be looking at. 1, is the person just not capable? Has the company evolved to such a way that we've got somebody in the wrong position and it's not going to be the way that their brain works and their comfort level and their experience level is going to help. They're just not able to do this job. This is not going to be a thing that they're going to be successful at. So that's the first issue that could be going on. The second issue, they don't want to. Now, whether they consciously or subconsciously end up under-delivering, trying to get your attention and get you to fire them out the door, that could be debated, and it's going to be different from time to time. But the truth is, not everybody wants to do a good job for you in this role, in this way. And that's their choice. They can choose to leave. They should quit, but they won't all. It's up to you to protect your business and be the champion to make sure that they are delivering the quality results that you and the rest of your team need to deliver for your customers. Absolutely can happen. Engagement shifts, they have things that change in their life, and this is just not their priority anymore. And it would be lovely if they would just come in and say, I'm moving on. But the majority of them are going to wait until you are miserable enough to go and have that conversation. Or you step successfully into your boss role and you start having those conversations much earlier so they can have the conversation back with you. We have the skills gap. This is not something this human could be successful at. It's not in their toolbox, if you will. And then there's the people that just are not willing. Their attitude, their personal lives are pulling them different ways. They're just not buying into the vision. And then the third one is absolutely acknowledging that this person has potential. Boy, do I hate to burst your bubble. You are a small business owner. You don't have time to spend the next 6 to 18 months teaching someone how to have a career. This usually comes when we promote from inside in a hopeful way, or we hire hopefully. Oh, I really like them. They remind me of me. Remember, potential is just you seeing what you would do in that role. Not everyone is going to want to do it. And even if they want to try, your business might not have the resources, i.e. a trainer that's just sitting around twiddling their thumbs waiting to teach someone how to do a job all day, every day. Or you might not have the time to wait for someone to deliver these results to your business. That's all about making sure that they train with you. You don't teach them how to do the job. We need people that know how to deliver results. That's how small business has the opportunity to scale profitably and get big enough to pour money back into communities and mentorships and internships. But today, that's not where you're at. You need to know, can this person deliver within 60 business days or not? They need to be able to do 80 to 100% of the job before you're going to give them more time and attention. That's how you make sure your business is successful. All right, we have 3 buckets. We have the workflow issue, the capacity issue, and the employee performance issue. And these are all going to look different. I need you to remember, don't confuse loyalty with tolerance. You can still be a loyal human and not keep someone on the company that is not putting in the effort, not capable, not willing to go above and beyond to bring in the performance that they agreed to deliver when they accepted the job and the pay. You don't have to tolerate that. That's not the same thing as being somebody that's disloyal. So don't hold a role open for someone that's never going to be able to deliver for you. You're keeping your business stuck and you're spending lots of money doing it. Now, let's talk about the 3 questions you can use to help you diagnose, right? I'm not going to leave you hanging. Question number 1, if I replace this person with someone that was excellent tomorrow, Would the problem go away? Well, if you say yes, then it's likely a performance issue. If you say no, then it's workflow or capacity. Don't blame the person. Figure out exactly what the company needs so that this can be resolved successfully and finished, right? Not a patch answer, not a temporary answer, not a punt it down the line situation. We really want to make sure we're resolving it. Take the time to be strategic. Question number 2, has the scope of this role grown significantly in the last 6 to 12 months? Are you being good about understanding how much work is going to each of the individuals? How busy they are is not a measurement. How many projects were assigned to them in a time period? And how does that compare to 6 months ago or 12 months ago? That's measured. That's capacity. Busyness, we can stay busy and we can be really overwhelmed busy because of capacity. So busy can't ever be your explanation. You need to look at the quality of the work and the quantity of the work being assigned to them. So if you say, yeah, everything's been increasing, well, then this is a capacity issue and you need to be looking at expanding your team and hiring to bring on more people as your business grows. That's where we're going. This is going to happen. And question number 3, has this person had clear expectations, real feedback in the moment, and adequate time to adjust to that feedback? Boss, I'm asking you, how are you doing at managing those performances? How are you doing at communicating and being accessible, available, and clear about success with your team? Because if this is sounding familiar, it's a leadership gap, and you need to step into your boss role so that you can fix this specifically and finally. Stop writing new procedures as a substitute for having the hard conversations. Writing documentation is not management. Documentation is a management tool. Management is you and the relationships that you build, lead, and communicate success about with individuals that agree to deliver results. That's it. How can you set that person up to be more successful and have them acknowledge that they're stepping into the commitment to deliver the results? This is a two-way street. This isn't just you. They have agreed to take the job. They have said they could deliver it to the way they understand it. So it could be they're just not going to be able to do the job, no matter how hard they try. It could be that we didn't set them up for success nearly as clearly as we could have, and we can fix and change that. Remember, reactive leadership is going to create reactive teams. If you want a high-performing team, then we need to make sure that you are the most intentional person in the room. Intention's not about being the expert in the room. It's about knowing where you're going, being focused, and committing to the time, resources, and knowledge training that you might need or they might need from you so that we can get to the results we need. Diagnose before you decide to just take the work off of Sally and give it to somebody who's already working at their capacity as well. You have to diagnose before decision every single time, boss. I know. It's like that's the job of a CEO. Workflow, capacity, or performance. That's the order you want to look at it. That's the filter you want to go through. The business owner who builds great teams aren't the ones who react the fastest. I'm going to say that again. The business owners that build great, effective teams are not the bosses that react the fastest. Now, you might want your business to move quickly, and you've got a real focus on being the first and the way that you respond to your clients. But being fast with your team is not serving you or your growth. Think about things before you actually go in and make that decision, just to be done, just to check it off your list. And if you're watching this and thinking, I don't actually know which bucket my problem goes into, it's totally okay. That's why we have the CEO Freedom Assessment. In this intensive, it's designed to help you figure out exactly what bucket needs your time and attention and in what priority. This is not a course. It's not a group program. This is us assessing your company so that you can understand what to do. You want to get signed up right here and right now so you can start working on the infrastructure or the team or your own CEO leadership. We're going to identify exactly what your business needs. The link is in the description. Go register now. If there's still space, it's a small group. We keep it to just 10. Your team is waiting on you to step into the boss role. They want to deliver successfully for you, but you need to have the right systems, the right process, the right decisions so that they can deliver clearly what your success looks like. It's not start with fixing. It's start with diagnosing. Then we fix. That's what a real CEO does to grow successfully, more easily, more effectively, and with a lot more profit, my friends. Boss on!